I wish there was a pause feature. Right, so a little bit of a tip when it comes to Super Tower Defense, by the way. I know I've posted a lot of these kinds of videos and shit like that, but I wanted to do a raw live version, like not really from start to finish, like the start of the, more like the start of the strategy, because the first 20, 30 waves are pretty boring, to be honest. So you basically get this first and place it over here in the radar. After applying a radar to it, you want its range to cover under the bridge just a little bit, enough to the point where it's like right over here in this area, like you just saw, or a little bit over it so it shoots for longer. Just aim for like the very corner of like this brick or something, like right here. And this will be able to solo by itself until wave 34 because of that range. Now, range is very important. I see a lot of people placing their towers like right over here, or like right over here in like very obscure areas. In my opinion, that is a bad tactic. Like, you want the tower to shoot and deal damage for like the longest amount of time it can possibly deal its damage. So like, you want to make sure you cover a lot of the track with just one placement. Like, for example, if I placed a minigun here, it would be able to shoot only for 5 seconds. They would get to the corner, would probably shoot a little bit more over here, but that's it. It will only shoot for like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like 5 seconds. Compared to this one being able to shoot for like 20 to 25 seconds. It's around those margins. And it covers a whole lot more of the track. Like, this general area is the best for placing down towers in general. For the strategy I'm using, this is the best placement to put it. You can put it like a tiny little bit closer, like right over here. Just move it slightly more over, and it'll work a little bit better because I'll have a little bit more track coverage. But right now, it's fine because as soon as I get one more radar applied to it, it'll cover this whole bend right over here, which is really good. A really good play. Also, I don't see people getting these a lot for some reason. Like, I know I have videos on how overpowered these are, but like, seriously, you can get way more money by stacking these. Yes, they are stackable. No one really tests that for some reason. Like, you can literally go into a private instance, test it yourself, and see that the raiders stack. There's even footage of you can even go in the debug room over here, which is usually open in a public instance, and just spectate the way that they just place a camera in there, since desktop and PC and VR both have cameras. Just place a camera in there, have your tablet like in your point of view, and so it's like constantly see and like check the value of the radar. Like here, I have enough time to spare. I can go do it real quick. By the way, for those who don't know where the key is, here you go. It's literally right over here. It is literally also this. I'm doing this in the public instance because like the public instances are a little bit dead right now, so it's like I should be fine. If not, then this recording will abruptly end. But yeah, here you go. All the stats and stuff like that. So over here, you'll see T5 stands for the Raider, and it has like type upgrade. 5 would be the final one for some reason. Don't ask me why. Actually, no, 4 would be the final one. 4. Range 3.75, which is accurate. And then speed modifier 1.2, money modifier 1.2. I need to put another radar down. And that's only just the basic concept. Also, when putting down a radar, make sure it's touching as much stuff as possible. Want to make sure there's like as many glowing green towers. Like right now, I only have like 2 towers down, but still. And then like normal casual run that's not sweaty like the way I do it. You want to make sure there's at least as many towers covering the same radar. Like the more damage towers there are, the less of effect it kind of has, because you want to spam like as many raiders as possible around a single tower. So here I placed another radar, and look at that. The range is now taking the whole entire curve. And it's just like that one curve, it's like already almost all the entire map, which is pretty neat. And this will also shoot slightly over there as well. So another little thing so yeah, so over here in the debug room, it's called the debug room. So speed modifier, which is how much damage. It's technically a damage modifier, to be honest, because it just gives the tower more damage. The money modifier, so like it's 1.2 versus 1.4, because I don't have a stonks over there yet. And over here we have position speed. I think I means like the instance, like the number, and then H stands for health. Someone joined the instance. It's a random. I do not know this person. But yeah, small stuff like this is very useful. Also, for this setup, I want to try to make sure he's not picking anything up that I don't want. I can usually level with it, but as soon as like I start messing with whatever they place down, people tend to think that it's okay. I'm just going to grab the hammer and destroy all this guy's shit there, because they're deleting the shit I put down. Please, for the love of God, I would recommend not having that type of mentality in a public instance, especially if people are already trying to do something, because like you're ruining their specific version of the fun. Like, if you go into a public instance and see, like, a session in progress, please, please, for the love of God, do not interrupt it. Because you were a very, very bad person if you do. Like, let the person figure. I know this is supposed to be a cooperative attempt, but, like, if it's something like trying to be like the person's trying to be optimized and shit like that, I would still like highly recommend that you don't meddle with a setup, especially one like this where the person's just trying to get set up for late game and shit like that. You can help with ideas and stuff like that, but, like, please, for the love of God, don't mess with the actual legitimate setup. Because, like, placing down random towers, spoiler alert, it is not the best thing in the world to do. That is the number one rule of tower defense. Like, literally in general, tower defense. You, like, do not place random towers. That is, like, literally rule number one. That is literally rule number one. This guy's trying to place down random shit when I'm just trying to upgrade. Like, for instance, this guy, he probably not English, probably doesn't understand what I'm doing. Like, just leave it alone. It doesn't need any tweaks and shit like that. Just leave it alone. This Zoe also seems to have like one controller like I do for some reason. They're not using their other controller. And I can very well see that. But yeah, when going into like a random public instance, just be very, very aware because you could always ruin something that someone's trying to do. Like, just please, for the love of God, do not place random towers because that's like a general tower defense rule. Just don't place random towers where they aren't needed. Like, I would personally get permission from the person who's doing the run in the first place to, like, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? That's, you can do that, please. That it, like, and if they say no, I'm trying to do my own thing, or I got this, I know what I'm doing, then I would trust that person, like, to my heart's content. Like, I would see, like, what they have in store, what they're going to do. Give them suggestions. Shit like that. If they're doing bad, offer some help, like stuff like that. People won't mind. People will not mind that. Like, at all. It's only when it hurts the actual game itself, that you're kind of doing something wrong. And if someone's yelling at you, like, don't do this, do that, just listen. Just listen, because they probably know what they're doing. They probably played this tons of times before. Like, I know I have played this a lot of the times. How this video probably won't get to all the question kids out there. Also, by the way, um, if you have any friends at all that are super interested in getting a like really high wave in Super Tower Defense, just send them a YouTube video. There's like 5 other YouTube videos besides this one, which is currently being made. There's like 5 other YouTube videos with beyond 100 setup that's basically the same strategy over and over again. And it's a very simple strategy concept too. Like, I don't get why people don't go into private instances and just test out this stuff for themselves, but it's mostly just kids, I guess. And some people don't even think about this kind of stuff, because normally support towers in tower defense games, they do not stack with each other. They do not stack up on each other normally, so I can see the confusion. I just don't get the premise sometimes. I'm going to turn into a different avatar, so this is a tiny little bit easier on me. But yeah, I'm making this video in hopes of like people will see this and people will understand that mindless spam is not the way to go. Like, it really is not. You're better off testing to see like how far a certain tower will go. How far is this tower going to make it by itself? Like, the cheaper you go, the better you're off. And that's usually a rule number 2 of tower defense. Like, do not waste money on stuff that you don't need. If it looks like it's defending well, then it's gonna defend well. If it looks like it leaks, then you can do something. Just make sure when you do indeed do something, it's not impeding the progress of other people. I could have fucked that up so easily. Just go to show this is starting it into radars become overpowered territory. Or you're fine without a thumper for a while. Now, this is also an updated efficiency guide, so it's a lot more efficient than the previous videos I have on this channel, in which there's going to be a small little change to the way I handle these kinds of waves. A big difference is you can actually pause on wave 50 and sell everything to get a trinity. It's It's the same type of efficiency. You get the setup maxed out at like fucking wave 70 or some stuff like that. And I'm gonna be doing that just because it's a little easier to pull off. It's a safer strategy in mind, so you can do it. It doesn't hurt you at all. So you saw there, and I'm only gonna be selling the very middle here. So make sure when you place these down, the cannons, they go right in the middle. You see now I need 250,000. That's easy to sell these two radars and boom. And now I'm back rolling. I can even place tower here or whatever. It doesn't matter as long as the radar reaches usually. It takes a while to get used to placing these without needing the wrench in order to place them more precisely. Like that one, for example, is in a bad spot. I don't mind selling one, but if I have to sell another, that's a game over. And positioning is really important, more important than you probably think it is. And the problem with people is they think, oh, I'm supposed to get this on its base version for. No. The Miracle is a late game tower, meaning you want to get it like only when you desperately need it because it's like so expensive. Like, look at this, 500,000 in 4 hearts. That's a lot. That really is a lot. Like you have no idea how much that actually encompasses. Like it really is a lot. But yeah, you could keep the Twilight. You could keep the Twilight spear, or you can sell for this. It doesn't matter. You get the max 24 radars regardless either way. Like wave 75. At least I do. If you play it differently, you might get a different result. But like, it doesn't matter what you choose as long as you get 24 radars and one tower, which is usually this one. And that's one of the reasons I keep the thumper around because the thumper helps a little bit. And then like when it says 25 readers, I usually end up selling the thumper because that extra stonks really does go a long way. Like you normally do not make this much money without stonks raiders. Like, this is the most overpowered tower in this game when it comes to like support and stuff like that. It really is underrated, and you should use it a lot more. It is heavily underrated. Just to give an example, I'm going to bump my audio up, and the more raiders I put, the more you'll notice a difference in its fire rate and stuff like that. That's why I said that speed upgrade, the speed modifier, is technically a damage modifier. It is technically a damage modifier. Like, it increases fire rate, means it increases the damage of the tower. Even if it's something like a minigun, which is already max fire rate, it will just increase the damage instead. So like, it's 20 base, it's a base damage of like 2 or something like that. It will increase to 2.2 or something like that. Only it's a little bugged right now because floating numbers exist, and Udon's the slowest shit in the world, so you're losing on like 1% of the actual damage you're supposed to have, but whatever. All is good in the end. So, some people probably wonder like why I'm not getting any of the airplanes or like the final radar upgrade. It's because it's literally only used to increase the radar range, and that is literally it. That its only use is to upgrade radar range, and that is stuck in the radar. You notice as soon as I upgraded that radar, the fire rate immediately started increasing to hell and beyond. Still trying to make it green to my best ability, which is really hard to do. Like, it's very finicky sometimes as well. Like, as long as the general, you know, tower glows green, you're fine. Even if it's not the thumper, you should still be fine. Some people are probably wondering why I'm not even getting the Iceland, but like, I do not need it. Personally, you do not need it for like ever. Like, if you play your cards right, you don't need the Ice Thumper literally ever. You never, ever, ever need it. But that's usually only if you play the cards right. Usually. But yeah, the more and more radars I upgrade, the more and more you'll notice this starts to turn into a minigun because of all the radars around it, giving the fire rate buff. It's technically a code that decreases the animation speed, or increases the animation speed, decreases the time between reload. Bunch of animation bullshit. If you're into a world creation, you should probably immediately understand. It's basically a script that increases the animation speed. Like a lot. Well, not really a lot. It's more like if the animation was, for example, 1 second long, 5 radars would make it like still a second long. It's 5 radars, 20%. It's a 20% increase, so like 20 times 5 is 100%. 100% of 1 is literally just 1, so it'd be like 1 divided by 1, which is like literally 1. It's literally just 1. It is literally 1. Yeah, I'm like, because of all the stunts, look, I'm making like 2,000 per kill. And you normally cannot do that. This is not normally possible. Like on a casual run anyway. Casual run kind of deal, it's not normally possible. Yeah, this is why I said place my match, because now my OCD is gonna yell at me for this being so impact. If only hitboxes weren't wonky. Also, make sure to pay attention, because you never know when something is actually needing to be upgraded. Like there, I just lost on a little bit of extra income because I wasn't paying attention to how much money I was making. Like literally, I can buy level 3 radar already. It's a little ridiculous, and why people don't try doing this more often is beyond me. Every kid I see in public instances is always, ooh, nuke pretty. It looks so beautiful. Let me place it down. It does such good. It's only 12 damage. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I will be linking the Super Tower Defense doc that shows all the tower statistics, and linking an old doc me and my friend made back in update 1.0. Yeah, that's still kind of viable because it kind of still shows the enemy health and what you should probably expect. It does need to be updated, but yeah, I'll link the Super Tower Defense docs, as well as any additional information that might be helpful. Yeah, look, hear the baby roar. It's a minigun now, basically. Well, not really. It can fire faster, actually. And imagine someone, a random, just pops up on this, like, what the fuck? That's what I always get asked when people see me doing this in a public lobby. It's just like, what the fuck is this? This is so overpowered. Like, they realize, damn, this is something I would never have tried myself. That's why there needs to be a sandbox role, because you could probably just fuck around with all the towers and stuff like that, and be able to get away with literally everything. And the fun thing about this is, I can save money by not using planes. That's the fun part about this version of this jet. I don't need to waste 100 grand on planes. I could save that money to get an early Trinity or whatever, and then I can start focusing on planes a little. Yeah, it's wave 73. 75 is usually when I have my max set up. 74, 75. And there we go. There's the minigun cannon. And it's time to sell the thumper. For one small extra radar. And then I'm just gonna place it right here for shits and giggles. Ah, shit. I hate it when that happens. If this ever happens to you, you can literally just pause the wave real quick. Not that it makes a difference. Now it's this farming for 500,000. So I don't need this. Don't need this. Don't need that. So yeah, 75, 76. It doesn't matter usually for me. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make these two inner radars into planes, because you only need 4, and it's going to be the inner ones because I'm going to be selling the outer ones like right over here and right over here later anyway. So I want to upgrade the ones more in the middle center of things, so that way it's a little bit more better. Also, the lag strat that I posted in the video where I almost beat 170 without a lag strat, that also technically works in any strategy. So like if you're struggling with a certain wave with a certain setup, you could try doing lag strats, see if it works. But it's like, it's too much of a crutch to be used this casually and nonchalantly, to the point where, not really recommended. It's just a fun little strategy you can do on the side. And there you go, minigun cannon. Congratulations, you have seen literally everything. This is the basic strategy. I do this until 95, then I get the thumper, because if you don't get the thumper on 95, you just die. You die on 96 if you don't get a thumper on 95. And I just make it the temporal thumper because, like, quality of life, it's just easier to get. So yeah, I'm just going to make these radars over here into planes. And then that's just it. I'm probably going to stay by the board because this is still a public instance. My setup could easily be run, but this is generally the basics on, so I could literally stop the video right here. But yeah, 1 Trinity, 24 radars until wave 95, and then you place a temporal once wave 95 ends, because you can kill wave 95 with this strategy, It's just wave 96. That's why I say like wave 95 you have to sell a radar and put down a thumper. Wave 95 you put down a thumper. Then I would say after that wave 105 sell another radar for a trinity and just keep going after that. Like wave, there's a full chart in the Discord, which there's a Discord invite right here. Don't worry, it is not a rickroll. There's an actual Discord invite link right here if you don't want to use the one above or do the QR code scan. QR code kind of fishy nowadays anyway. So like, there you go. You can screenshot it now as well if you want to save it for later. You can always screenshot it. And just so I'm prepared for the next Trinity, I'm going to get 5 lines. Or at least 5 after on top of the box. Because there's always one on the side, so it's like more like 6. Yeah, but in between rounds 95 to 105, make sure you have 5 lives prepared, because they'll take 4, then you'll have 1. And then do that for before 120, then on 119, once it ends, do the same thing, sell a radar, place down Trinity somewhere in this general area, as close to any of the radars as you can get it, if possible. For example, this row right here is good, so I'll focus on placing my Trinities in this row. Then I'll focus on this row, and then finally this row. But yeah, the first wave you wanna, like 105, once 105 ends, you wanna sell a radar, replace it with a Trinity. And then same thing for 119, once 119 ends, sell a radar, replace it. Or like 114 if you want to be safe. 114, 119, replace radar with Trinity. Do the same thing for 129, 134, or 139 if you want to eco whore. And then every 4 or 5 waves after that, like 144, 149, 154, 159, etc. You want to make sure you sell one radar for and replace it with a Trinity until like 169 hits. If you're on wave 164 and you do not have like 10 Trinities, you've already failed, but you could always once again lag strat. Same thing for 169. If you have 10 Trinities, you can play the wave. You'll fail it without lag strat 1,000,000%. But if like someone can take this strategy right here and get like a 11th Trinity with video proof, of course, because I am the verifier of world records. I do not verify without a recorded run. If it's a screenshot of anything lower than 170, I was like, yeah, sure. I already know how to get through that wave, so it's fine. But if it's like anything above 170 or clearing 170, I will not verify it at all, unless it's on a video. Like, you can start the recording even at like wave 170 if you want. I don't care. I know how to get there. Or 169, show me the progress and whatever. But yeah, this is the basic concept, the basic tutorial. If you do want to know how long a specific setup can technically last. I also have a chart with those two. So like, if you wanted to know how long can no can you last with like literally no radars at all, the answer is wave 110, for example, because that's the highest you can reach without using a single radar, which is actually something I have done before. Reached wave 110 without using a single radar. It's very tough to do, and you need to be very, very specific and precise with your placements. Another tip I could use is try not to upgrade too much, but try not to also place any towers too much as well. And the reason why I say that is because of the 10% sellback. Since you don't get the full amount of money back when you place on a tower and then sell it, it's very, very much more efficient if you just place down a base tower and then sell it for later, rather than upgrade it to like max or something and then sell it. Because then the sellback, for example, on the base minigun is 250, right? You get 250 back because it costs 2,500. 10% of 2,500 is 250. But then its next upgrade, which costs 4,500, adds on to that, so it's 4,500 plus 2,500, which is 7,000. 10% of 7,000 is 700, so you only get 6,300 back, and etc. It's like 2,250 is a big difference from 6,300, because it's a 250 versus a 700. And that 250 goes to 700, that 700 goes to 1,500, and then 2,000, 4,200. 4,200, because I already did calculate that. So yeah, a big decline in money. Like, the more you upgrade, the more money you technically lose. And that's why the stonks was created. The stonks was to help mitigate that little issue, because you just make back that 10% loss anyway if you do end up selling something. And right now the cheapest defense to get your earliest stonks is 42,250. If you can go cheaper, I would like a video on that, please. I would like, and the setup where it needs to be like right here. If it's like anything right here, it doesn't count, because everything usually goes right here anyway. Like, if it has to be set here, like, there's no way. The Raiders would have to have 5 range in order for that to be viable. Yeah, I'm going to stop the recording at 100, by the way, because I don't want to bore you guys with basically the same strategy. I just want to give you an example of me selling the Raider at 95. And you can always rewind the video for the other specifics. I'll also put it in the description just in case. Yeah. And if another tip is, even if things look a little hairy, be aware that the only time you really need to do something is if they get really, really close to the hearts. Like, only if they get really, really, really close to the hearts. Like I'd say like right around the end of the bridge right here. Or when they yeah, like right around the end of the bridge or something like that. Because that's one thing with the laser. If it's like placed right around here, this bridge is technically the longest path. Yeah. Another thing is you could also place your setup around here. Granted, it would have to be tweaked a lot more, but this like little incline right here is the straightest path you can get. It's the longest straight path because it takes 5 seconds versus this, which only takes 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds before they go around the curve. But yeah. Here's me selling a radar, for example. I'm going to be putting down the temporal thumper, or like the base thumper and upgrade it to temporal thumper. And that's basically the concept. Now all I need to do is once 105 or 104 hits, it doesn't matter which one, to be honest. I'd have to, or you can go to 109 if you're feeling antsy. Antsy pantsy. Yeah. 104, 105, or 109, you have to sell a radar. You can sell a radar for another Trinity if you feel like you're going to die. 104 would be the safest, and 109 would be the latest. Because once 110 hits, yeah, no, you're fucked if you still have one Trinity. But yeah, that's the basic concept. I don't think I have any more tips. I could show the I could show little panels right here. So like 5.6. There you go. There's proof that the radar stack because they were like 1.2 when first recording. Now that value's 5.6. There you go. There's your proof that radars do indeed stack. And look at the health, 3,000, and boom, there it goes, deleted, deleted, deleted. Like everything's getting deleted. This just tells you if the tower pickups bug or not. So all this information is 100% accurate. This just tells you other shit like bank enabled true. There, yeah, the bank is basically the amount of money you have. So like I have 2 million, for example. I have 5 lives. I only bought 4. Health controller. This basically controls the health of the vehicles or the enemies. Wave 98. Ongoing wave true. Session just tells you how many of attempts. So if you're like session 0, for example, it just means it's your first attempt. So yeah, there's even a car count, which they'll just mostly be constantly at 3 until like later on when there are more and more enemies. And then yeah, tower count 25. You can only have 25. You can. There's no way to disable the wrenches or hammers, so there's no point in having that other stuff there. Lab opened. Obviously, yeah. It's called the lab, but it's also called the debug room because it's used for debugging and looking at statistics, like more in-game statistics than the actual docs has, because the docs do not have like an actual graph for this stuff. But yeah. These are useless. You only use them. Those apples are useless. The bird's just an Easter egg. The sun's a smiley face, and I am going to win again. I am going to win again. Yeah. This is just to show you there is more confetti that happens if you manage to beat wave 100. It will say you win again. And that's literally it. It's just gonna be the same Tumbler Batmobile enemy for like literally forever from now on out. Once wave 100 ends, it is completely automatic waves. They are automatically generated and stuff like that. The health scaling kicks in and everything, which that just means like you eventually die no matter what you do. That's basically what health scaling is. You die no matter your setup. But the maximum possible wave is technically 172 without any huge exploits, but if someone figures out a way to get an 11th Trinity for waves 170, it is actually possible to clear wave 170 with 11 Trinities. Just barely, though. Just barely. But yeah, that's it. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to let me know. But if any questions are concerning the setup, just it speaks for itself. It's pretty much the best you can get. Minus, I'm going to be selling a bunch of Raideries and Fortrinities when needed. Yeah. Yeah. I'll just be linking the docs so you can have a good look at the tower stats and stuff like that. Yeah, that's really a tower. I'll see you guys.